everybody, Tom Vasel here, and welcome back to Board Game Breakfast. We're back. So I know we took a bit of time off last week. Well, some time. I still did a lot of stuff going on last week, but we didn't put out a lot of videos. That is over. We're back. Reviews are coming. All sorts of things are happening, and I'm excited about that. This episode of Board Game Breakfast, episode 341, is sponsored by Pandasaurus Games, and they want you to know about Sonara. This game, coming out, it's already out actually, is the world's first flick and write game, where you will flick discs into the middle, and then you're going to use where they land to write the scores down, just like your typical roll and write game, although this one has flicking involved. And look at that really gorgeous cover. So, of course, don't forget that Godspeed is out also, and we thank Pandasaurus for that. I have a lot of things to talk about today, so let's get started with something new. Today, folks, I wanted to do a different segment. Start one. I'm not going to do this every week, but every once in a while, talking about a game from 30 years ago. We're always talking about new stuff here, so just a quick look at 30 years ago, picking one game. So today, we're going to start with a game that won the Spiel des Jahres award in 1990. And that is a game that when I got the newest version of it in 2008 from Uberplay, it was called Hoity Toity. But the English name is by Hook or Crook, actually, and the original game is Delve Verpflichtet. This is a bluffing game designed by Klaus Teuber. Now, this game made him very famous, actually, not the uber famous that he became 5 years later when he designed Settlers of Catan. So this came 5 years before that, but this game here, which is extremely popular in Germany and has had some success here in America for sure, is a game of, when I reviewed it, I almost called it a rock, paper, scissors style game. You are, depending on the theme, trying to collect a collection of antiques or paintings or whatever and show them off, and you're doing that each turn by picking where you're going to go and revealing cards simultaneously with everybody else, trying to go where no one else is going, trying to play the cards that help you and block other people. It is a fairly repetitive game. You're doing the same thing over and over and over. And like I said, it's a variation on rock, paper, scissors. I think it's best with 5 or 6 players. It goes up to that many players. And it's one of the few games that does better the more players that you have. It has some obvious choices in it. And, you know, it won the Spiel des Jahres, it's a family game. And it's not like fully in-depth strategy. And for me, over the years, has kind of fizzled a bit. I prefer the Delve Verpflichtet theming, the Hoity Toity. It works okay, but man, that's an awful name. I'd rather the by Hook or Crook. You can still find copies of this game on the used market. It's pretty easy to get a hold of at this point. It takes about 45 minutes. Originally produced by Ravensburg and Alea, now and then Uberplay. Of course, Uberplay is no longer in existence, but it's a game that has, I think, stood the test of times. So that's a game to check out from 30 years ago.
Hey guys, my name is Deanna, and my husband and I have been into board games for the last 9 years, and we really love watching the Dice Tower. I have a degree in early childhood education, and over the last 7 years, I have been homeschooling our children. And I asked Tom if I could make a segment here on Board Game Breakfast all about educational board games. This coming school year, I will have a 5th grader, a 3rd grader, a kindergartner, and a toddler. And so I love homeschooling. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and I really love bringing in educational games into our homeschool environment. It really just makes learning more exciting and hands-on and interactive. And one thing that we love to do in our homeschool is to have what we call Fun Friday, where we play tons of educational games together. It really helps to reinforce the things that the kids are learning in school, and we just have a lot of fun together. So I'm going to be starting a series here on Board Game Breakfast featuring an educational board game. I'll be talking about the different things your kids will be learning in each of these games, as well as what ages it works best for. I know a lot of families right now are considering either schooling from home or homeschooling this coming school year, and so I thought this would be a great way for you to maybe add some educational board games to your family's game collection so that you can be learning together and also having fun. So that's it for now. I look forward to sharing these games with you guys, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Board Game Breakfast. Bye.
I'm back. Hey guys, it's Nick again with Mental Health Minute, and I want to talk about a lot of things, but I'm happy to be back coming off the front lines of our current pandemic situation to talk about some board games and get really back into it. So thank you. Now that I'm back in it, I keep thinking, I put a game on the table the other day and I said, why? Why is this what I choose to come back to? Why, out of all the things I could be doing, is putting a board game on the table that valuable to me? Is it just because it's fun? It could be. I don't think so, but it could be. It brings me with other people. It brings people together. Even in our current environment, people are playing board games through the computer instead of doing it live. That's incredible. A lot of people could just say, oh, well, I'll play video games for a while until I can meet up with my game group again. And not everyone's doing that. They're still communicating. They're still going back and forth. I envy the amount of games you guys have been playing over the last few months. I'm glad to be back into it. It reminds me that I did this and I started all of this to be with people, to coexist, to have friends, family, see new friends, see new relationships forming, and all these other things coming into perspective. And that has really shown the purpose of why I do this and what's enjoyable about it. It's taking the happiness that we often put in the back burners and bringing it forward and making it a reality and sharing that reality with everyone else and seeing their reality and see everything in front of you. It may just be a game on a table, but there's a little more to it than that, don't you think? Once again, good to be back. Enjoy your breakfast.
Hey, I'm close to the camera because I'm about to show you a close-up of something. So this here is the Cam Liink, and this is what I wanted to review today. This is an incredibly cool device that I found to be very useful. See, a lot of times we have these wonderful cameras that we have, and big cameras all over the place that do a really good job with both sound and the background and things like that. But the problem is they don't work so well for computers. Well, in this world now where we're streaming everything through computers and using lots of different programs, and I'll talk more about that in future weeks, but you are stuck with webcams, and there are much better webcams than there used to be. But a webcam doesn't have the zooming devices that this has, you know, where you can zoom in and zoom out. They just don't have that. They don't have the wonderful audio that comes with these cameras. But this fixes that. So what this does is you're able to stick an HDMI device in the back of this and then plug this into your computer through USB, or if you're like me, this comes with a small attachment that I can use the USB-C or Thunderbolt cable on my Mac computer. You plug in an HDMI camera, and it doesn't work with all cameras, but so far it's worked with every one I have, and it's just like using this camera as a webcam. Now, it's not something I can do all the time. I'd love to do it a lot more than I normally do it, but just because of, you know, portability and things like that. But you'll see us using this more and more. Now, this is not an inexpensive device. I want to say it was upwards of $200 for this device, but it is incredibly handy and useful, and it was literally plug and play. I thought I had to download a driver and everything for it. Didn't need to. Just plugged it in, and so far on my Panasonic camera here and the above Lumix GHS camera above here, those both worked on it like a charm. So, and it's just an expensive thing, but I'm already considering getting another one. So I just thought this was a really cool thing, and I highly recommend them.
Hi, I'm Ambie, and you might already know this, but I have a couple of babies at home who aren't quite old enough to play board games. So I haven't been playing mini board games. I did try to play Go Away Monster with them at one point, but instead of taking the pieces and matching shapes up onto the board, they took the piece and it went directly into their mouth. So they're not ready for that yet. So instead of playing an actual board game with them, I've kind of designed a new dexterity game for them that involves putting shapes into the bucket. The rules are you each have a certain number of shapes, and on your turn, you try to put one of your shapes into the bucket, and the first person who gets rid of all their shapes wins. Now, this sounds like a really easy game, and I actually win all the time, but for my babies, it's kind of difficult because sometimes they miss the bucket, or sometimes the piece ends up in their mouth instead of in the bucket. So it's pretty challenging for a 9-month-old baby to play this game. So I think this is the right level of challenging for them at this stage in their life, and they actually have a lot of fun playing it. So much fun that I see them trying to play it at other times without me. Sometimes they're dropping other toys into other bucket-shaped objects. So they're practicing to get better. Please let me know if you have any other stories or tips on how you get babies into board games. And let me know what your favorite games for young toddlers is, because my babies are going to be at that age soon, and that'll be really exciting. I already have a few games, but I'm always on the lookout for more. So let me know. Bye!
Hi, I'm Josh from the YouTube channel Josh Yaks, here with an interesting thematic mechanism from another game. The wine-making game Viticulture is thematically rich, despite being a mechanically simple worker placement game. The mechanism I'm going to zero in on today is the aging of the wine and the grapes. Just as in the real high-end wine industry, cellaring a vintage and allowing it to mature over several years can significantly increase its value. This is represented in game terms through the very simple mechanism of aging. At the end of each year, players will age all of the bottles in their cellar by a value of 1. One thing that always puts a smile on my face is the fact that players also increase the value of their grapes by 1 at the end of each year. Oh, you only have 2020 vintage grapes? I have 2014 grapes, and they're going to make me a lovely instant aged wine. Where this can create a tough decision point is when it comes time to fill wine orders, which are ultimately what's required in order to gain victory points and to increase a player's annual residual income that is paid out at the end of each year. So I might have this wine order card, which only requires a value 3 red and a value 3 white wine, and which provides me with 3 victory points and an increase of 1 lira on my residual income. But I'm also holding this other wine order that requires value 6 red and white wines, but which awards 5 victory points and a residual income increase of 2. So, do I fill the lower value order right now in order to get the immediate reward of receiving that crucial residual income, or do I patiently play the long game for greater rewards and wait for those few extra years / game rounds in order to get more points and double the residual income? Viticulture proves that a little mechanism that is both automatic and dead simple can both create some tough decisions for the players and further add to an already thematically rich game experience. I'll be back soon with a thematic mechanism from another game, and meanwhile, you can watch me being me on my Josh Yaks YouTube channel. Cheers! Earthy.
So what's coming from the Dice Tower this week? Well, I mentioned Sonar at the beginning. I'm actually be reviewing that. I'm also going to be taking a look at Cosmic Colonies, a game in which you're going to be placing Tetris-style pieces on, the Godzilla game, and the Jungle Cruise game. This one's from Robertson Burger. This one is from Funko, but both designed by Prospero Hall, and several other board games. We are going to have a new podcast from Mandy and Suzanne coming up on Tuesday, and of course many other podcasts. I'm going to be doing my top 10 bird-themed games later on this week. On Rado's channel, Rado Runs Through, I'll be jumping in there and doing a corner-to-corner with him. We haven't done one of those for a while, so we're going to get back to that. And we got all sorts of reviews. I'm going to be taking a look at My City, the new Legacy-style game that's nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. So lots of different reviews and things coming out this week. Also, our 10,000 and Below series is back on, where I'm going to take a look at games that came out, or that are ranked on Board Game Geek, 10,000 or less, and tell you what I think of them. So lots of stuff to look forward to. I hope you enjoy it. You got to keep going.
from Pip Wonder, and today we're going to be reviewing Animal Upon Animal by Hava Games. This is a cute little dexterity game where you're stacking all the little wooden animals on top of the big alligator. What's your favorite part about this?
My favorite part is putting a soup on a crocodile.
What's your favorite animal of all the pieces?
I have both of them.
The sheep. Yeah, the sheep are pretty great. Does it make you feel nervous when the pile gets really high?
Yeah, I could maybe fall over.
You have to be really careful not to roll the dice into the pile, right?
Yeah, I did it one time and it wasn't good.
Would you recommend it for other little kids?
Yeah.
Would you recommend it for mommies and daddies?
Yeah.
Who else would you recommend it for?
Grown-ups.
Grown-ups?
Bye. We see you next time.
I was surprised. I knew it was a kid's game, but I didn't realize how addictive it was going to be for me. I just want to see how high I can stack these guys. This is a great game for all age groups. We played with our 3-year-old, we played with adults. You can play competitively, but you can also play just kind of like an activity as well. So it's a great game. I would say it's not even a kid's game by itself. You could take this to your game night and kind of kill a little time in between heavier games, just for the fun of it. So I would recommend this. If you like dexterity games, it might be something you want to check out. I hope you guys have a great day, stay safe, and happy gaming. Bye!
This is a segment where we take a board game based on an IP. I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms work together and whether you should buy it or not. Today we're looking at Godzilla. There's a lot of rules in this game. Let me give you a very quick overview of it. I'll come back and tell you what I think. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what you're doing here. On this game, you'll be moving your kaiju around in order to fight and gain victory points from the other players. On your turn, you'll play a card. There's 3 main things that you can do. You can move, which is just 2 steps, and that's just move 3 spaces across the board. You can never go in a space with a large building. If you're in the same space as somebody, you can attack, which is very easy to do. If they don't have a defense card, you just do that much damage to them. So in this case, I would do 4 damage. I would take 4 cards off the top of their deck, and I would score whatever the highest victory point card is. In this case, it would be 2. This would go in my victory point pile. These would go back in that player's discard pile. At the end of the game, whoever has the most victory points is the winner. Keep in mind, this is a short overview. There's other things you can do. Anytime you move or destroy a vehicle with small buildings, you can end your movement. You can destroy these buildings for energy. There will be small buildings out here that you can destroy too. You can pick up tanks and throw them at other Godzillas and be able to do things to them. There'll be jets that will be flying in that can do damage and etc. Lot to digest here. Very good Godzilla game. I think the IP and the mechanisms work wonderful together. You have a hand management. Sometimes you can move around. Sometimes you can attack. Sometimes you can defend. Sometimes you can bash certain buildings. It works beautifully in this game. This game is all about picking up vehicles and throwing them at other people. It's all about bashing buildings. It's all about bashing other kaiju. And it works brilliantly. If you like Godzilla, this game fits. Does the mechanism of playing the cards work? I mean, why can't Godzilla just go out and punch somebody because he wants to? It's a board game. You're going to have some restraints. This game prepares it wonderfully. You can hold back. You can play cards now. It's all about the hand management. But most of all, it's about bashing other things as being these kaiju. Absolute winner for me. You should check this one out if you haven't. If this sounds interesting at all. Absolute keeper for us.
Hi everyone, I'm Clara Barker, and I'm going to be talking about games that I haven't played. Games that sound like they're right up my street, but I just haven't had the opportunity to play them. And today I'm going to talk about Defenders of the Realm, Defenders of the Last Stand. What is it about these games that probably means that I should be playing them? Well, I really love cooperative games. I love trying to solve a puzzle, beat a game with my friends. It's rather than trying to beat my friends, it's a big part of gaming for me. And one game that we play quite a lot is Pandemic. But if I'm honest, I think Pandemic, I just need that extra little bit of game. I need that extra little bit of something. And Pandemic Legacy Seasons 1 and 2 gave me extra stuff to do. All the reviews I've heard of Defenders of the Realm, Defenders of the Last Stand basically seem like Pandemic Plus. So, yeah, sounds like it should scratch the itch that I need. I'm also really curious about this mechanic where you gain cards, and you can either play them to get an effect there and then, or you can save them so that you can get an extra dice when you're in combat. And rolling dice is lucky, so, this idea of saving cards to get extra dice to mitigate luck, that sounds really interesting. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. Now, I'm a big Dungeons & Dragons fan, so I love generic fantasy, no matter what Tom says. And so you'd think that I'd probably want to play that version more, but to be honest, it sounds like Defenders of the Last Stand just has extra mechanics, a little bit of extra stuff going on, and just sort of elevates the game like version 2.0. Now, I know there's a Sentinels version coming out, but I'm not really fussed about superheroes, so unless it adds to the game again, I'd probably still be more interested in Defenders of the Last Stand. So let me know below whether, you think that I'd enjoy the Defenders games, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
In the past, I've talked about Board Game Geek, and in fact, on our channel, we talk about Board Game Geek all the time. So if you're new to the Dice Tower, Board Game Geek is the largest website about board games in the world. It's very handy. I've been there almost since day one on the website, and it is the website that, other than maybe my email, I check the most. It is a huge database of games, huge community, lots of stuff going on. If you want to find out information about any game, if it's not at Board Game Geek, it almost likely doesn't exist. Yes, there are other things, there are other alternatives out there, but it is a fantastic website. Now, this is not under my things I found on the internet, it's under Tom Thinks, because I wanted to talk a little bit about Board Game Geek today, briefly. I think Board Game Geek has been instrumentally wonderful for the hobby. Obviously not a perfect website, but neither is the Dice Tower, neither is many websites. All sorts of things. There's always room for improvement. But the website of Board Game Geek, which initially was founded on the idea that board game information should be for everyone. If you've listened to Aldi, you hear the stories about him being part of groups that I was also part of back in the day that, were subscriber-only groups. And if you wanted to find out information, it was hard to find. And Aldi, or Scott Alden, the head of Board Game Geek and founder, he wanted to make that information available to everybody, and it is thus indeed. It's easy to find information about games now. You can easily go anywhere and learn about Board Game Geek, and it's all thanks to what they've done, and I really appreciate that. And they are consistently working to improve and grow and expand, and I like that too. They're doing things at conventions has been a direct inspiration for us, and for sure my reviews and the things that I got my biggest jumping point off of Board Game Geek. But the folks who run Board Game Geek and all the different employees there are also fantastic. Obviously, we have crossover. My former video editor, Derek Porter, is now a video editor with Board Game Geek. And you might have seen just a month ago, we did the virtual gaming convention together because they are really that wonderful people behind the scenes. We live in an era of big corporate business. And yes, that big corporate business occasionally sticks its toe or nose into the board gaming world. But for the most part, the board gaming world, even quote-unquote big things. So Board Game Geek, biggest website in the world about board games. And yet I can know and talk to the employees there and, go and meet them and say hi and everything. And it's just like ordinary people. It still has that very easy, small business vibe. I really like them, and I think they're wonderful, fantastic friends. I think they do a great thing for the community, and they definitely enrich my life. In a day or a year, essentially, where there's a lot of bad stuff all over the internet, really is, and you might skip specific sites because of the negativity there. Board Game Geek, which even people have accused there of being negativity in the forums and stuff there, those people must not have visited the rest of the internet, because I found for the most part it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's a rabbit hole of entertaining statistics and things, and it's backed by and run by people that I admire and think the world of. And so I just think it's a wonderful thing, and I'm glad it exists.
What's up everyone, my name's Melissa McCack and this is Smashin' Buttons and Slammin' Cards. This is a segment where I talk about a video game I love and I connect it to a board game I love. And this week, I want to talk about Deceit. Deceit is a really bizarre game where you are assigned some sort of role. You're either a monster or you're the good guy, I guess a human. And you're going around this place, I don't even know what this place is really, it's some sort of building. And if you're the monster, you're trying to steal blood bags. Why are you doing that? Well, it's to somehow give you the ability to transform into your monster form, I guess. That way you can then attack the human players. It's really bizarre, but it's a short game and it's got that traitor vibe to it. If you're the human player, you're just trying to escape and get out of this place, really. I would like to connect that to The Resistance. The Resistance is another pretty light, short traitor game where some of the players are part of the resistance and other players are not. They're the rebels or spies or something. I don't know. And you're just trying, if you're one of the good guys, you're just trying to complete missions. If you're one of the not so good guys, you are trying to sabotage those missions. And both games are super light. Like I said, they both got that traitor element, which is why I'm really comparing them. Anyway, that is it for this week, but I do want to say I'm going to go on a brief hiatus from Board Game Breakfast and Teach the Teach just for the remainder of July because I have this thing I've got to take care of at the end of the month that has been causing me a lot of stress, so I just want to focus on that. But I will be back in full swing in August. Until then, you could check out mine and my brother's channel called Room 51. I won't be making content on there either, but my brother will, and I'm sure he'll do amazing things. Anyway, I'll catch you next time.
Hello.
Hi, hijo. What's you doing, honey?
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. What's going on?
Nothing much. I was up in the attic looking for some stuff, and I found one of your games, and I found your Barbie.
That's not my Barbie.
It has your name on it.
Well, that's not my Barbie. What game you got?
Oh, I found Avalanche.
Oh, cool. Why don't you just mail it to me?
Well, I thought I could do the Board Game Breakfast.
Yeah, but I'm not filming a segment right now.
Oh, I really want to do it. This is Avalanche, published in 1966 by Parker Brothers. This is a 2 to 6 player abstract game. Let me set this up and show you how it works. Honey, can you help me, please? I'll take the lid off. Oh, Chihuahua!
I guess the game had marbles. So you got everything all picked up.
This is what the game board looks like set up. Each player will pick a card at random. You're trying to fill up the card with the correct color marbles. On every player's turn, you take any color marble and one at a time place it on any hole you want. When one or more marbles hit the bottom, then your turn is over. You will then pick them up and put them on the corresponding color of your card. Then it's the next player's turn, who does exactly the same thing. When the person fills up the card, the game is over.
Well, I guess she did it. If you have a comment below, or you can tweet them to me at RetroBoardGamer. And as always, may your rolls be high.
Alrighty, well that's it folks for today. Of course, that's not it for today. We got reviews coming out later on today from some folks, and then tomorrow you're going to start seeing stuff from me. Tang Garden I'll be reviewing tomorrow, and of course our daily chats are happening every night. So keep those in mind and join us at 9 o'clock Eastern Time for those chats. So lots of cool things going on. I'm really excited about it. I'm ready. I'm awake. I'm ready to get back on track and review games. I have 40 to 50 games that are on my queue ready to review. We have some stuff to talk about soon. I'm so excited about it, but you'll just have to hang on, but it's coming your way. It's going to be a fantastic second half of the year. We look forward to it. We thank all of you. If you like my t-shirt, you can find it on our website, dicetower.com. Thanks to Pandasaurus. We'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel. Have fun gaming.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.